Get into it. Coach Colin here. We got a cool podcast that I don't listen to too often, but she is doing pretty solid interviews. You should check it out. Her name is Sage Steele, and she's sitting down with someone that you might have heard about. She was on Bill Maher just a couple of months ago, maybe even a few weeks ago. Time moves faster for me when I'm making videos, but her name's Jillian Michaels. Solid lady. I've actually met her in person. Actually, I was actually hosting an event, or I wasn't hosting the event, sorry. I was the videographer for the event. I was making sure everybody could be heard audio-wise, and I had to mic her up. And just in the small interaction, I was like, this lady's pretty cool. But she has turned out to be far cooler than I could have ever thought. Based, even, as the kids say. Jillian Michaels is about to go on a straight-up fire rant about why she left California and how crazy it's gotten. In her words, the madness. Everybody knows about California, commie California. It's getting really bad. I don't understand why anyone stays out there when they have the opportunity to come to Texas. It's weather-wise, same thing. Like, you just go cheaper houses. It just doesn't make any sense. So she's going to go on a rant and explain why she, with all of her, as she put it, woke cards that she has, decided to leave California and head over to Florida. Let's get into it.
Crazy parent.
Yeah.
In the locker room, keeping the boy out. It was a girl yesterday, a boy today. And you know what? It's a very difficult topic. However, as a parent, these are the conversations that we do have to have. You're from California. You live in California.
I moved out.
Are you in Florida?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where are you?
Miami.
I'm in Fort Lauderdale part-time. Guess what we're going to do?
Stop.
You have no choice. You have to hang out with me.
I love it.
I don't have that many friends there, so will you be my Florida friend?
I absolutely will.
Okay.
Yeah, California got too crazy for me.
Why?
Okay. This is my parting line. I grew up here. I'm a woman. I'm a gay woman. My mom's a Jew. My dad's an Arab. I have a black kid. And believe it or not, my son is half Latin, even though he doesn't look like it. I hold a million cards in your game of woke victimology poker. And when I leave California, maybe you've lost your fucking mind. Just maybe. Like, when you have me running from home, maybe it's gone way too far.
What was the line? Like what was it?
My God,
I guess
girl,
the
there's
end for
not
you?
enough time. And I actually take this line from Bill and Elon Musk, and they're like, I actually haven't changed.
Yes.
The world around me is shifting, and I haven't moved. So some of these laws that are passing here are absolutely fucking mind-boggling in relation to crime, protecting our kids. Like, we're decriminalizing everything, which arguably I would probably be okay with, but we're not regulating any of it.
Right.
So it's like, okay, you're gonna decriminalize sex work, but only so women can legally loiter on the streets. Like, not to keep them safe, not to have them pay taxes, not to make them, regularly check for STDs, not to take away the pimps out of the equation. It's like, if you made that argument to me, I'd be like, well, yes, we want, of course. I mean, I could be liberal. I could go there with you. But I grew up this way. But when it's like, oh, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna pass a law for LGBTQ rights so that 24-year-old men can sleep with 14-year-old boys and not have to register as a sex offender because it's just not fair to the gays. I'm like, what? It's what? Like, I don't know if you saw that one. That was like, I think early 2020 when they passed that law.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, if a 24-year-old man touches my 14-year-old son, I will get a gun and take matters into my own hands.
Yes.
Like, are you fucking kidding? Or the fact that a 12-year-old child can be put on off-label cancer drugs to irreparably change their body. Again, if my son came to me and said, Mom, my daughter, I think I'm trans, I'd say, okay, like, you want to dress this way? You want me to call you whatever the heck you want me to address? Fine. Explore it. I love you. I'm cool, like, do you, as long as we're safe. But we're not changing your body until it's fully developed. I'm sorry. Conversation's over. Can't get a fucking tattoo.
Exactly.
Are you crazy?
Look at the passion in this lady's eyes. And, you know, it goes to show the wokest of the woke are leaving California. I mean, she's not just all the things that she named. She also works in Hollywood, right? Now, it's not as an actor or anything. She's more of a trainer to the stars type of person, health coach to people in that range. She's like a health professional. But even still, she is leaving California because it's how crazy it's gotten. And I don't even know if she knows about the whole thing of Gavin losing $24 billion into the homeless initiative, and they don't even know where it went. They don't know for sure if it helped homelessness at all. There's so many things that they promise. Gavin's like, I'm not giving them another dollar until they show some proof. Then he gave $24 billion. There's no proof that it's helped at all. In fact, there's actually proof that the percentages of homeless people have actually gone up. And then she, because of where she lives, because she's rich, right? She's not even going to touch on the fact that you're allowed to loot and steal from California. In fact, do you know this was going on for years and years, but it amped up dramatically when California started allowing people to just go in the stores and take things. There's a woman, they call themselves the California Girls, and it is a mom. She's just like a regular housewife. She was running a shoplifting ring for the longest time. She would pay the rent and the bills of these people who you see just run into stores. She would pay their rent and their bills, take all the merchandise and sell it on an Amazon marketplace store or an Amazon store, whatever they call it. She would just sell it online. Do you know how crazy that is? That was a California mother who was doing that. She got caught finally because, you know, California was like, that's a bit too much. They're like, if these people were just stealing independently and taking it home, that's fine. The fact that they're selling it and they're making millions of dollars, not okay. And in fact, all the shoplifters, they're free. They're free because they didn't do anything. But the woman who was running it, the woman with the ingenuity to do this whole thing, she actually is facing some time in jail. It's wild what's going on in California. California is just Gotham City. It really is. It's New York or California. They're both in a race to become Gotham City. I think it's California, just based on Gavin Newsom. Eric Adams and their governor, they're not on Batman villain level quite yet. You know, they do silly things, but not enough. Gavin, on the other hand, Gavin seems like he's just down for absolute chaos. Absolute chaos. And then you don't even touch on the border. She doesn't even, again, she's rich. She's not concerned with these type of things. She understands. She's been on Bill Maher, and she was the woman who berated Bill about the economy because Bill was like, oh, the economy's so much better. And she's like, is it? She's like, why don't you try buying eggs? Like, she really went in on Bill. So she understands, you know, to a certain extent, but she doesn't even know about the border because that's not even something she has to deal with, right? It's very, very interesting. Let's see if I can find this little tidbit with her and Bill Maher real quick. Oh my gosh, there's another clip with her and Bill Maher. Good Lord. She just went in on Bill. Let's see if I can find it here. Fitness star slams Bill Maher. Let's see.
We won the pandemic.
Let's see. Yeah. Bill Maher. We won the pandemic. Here, check this out. Let's see if we can find enough of it.
All right, liberal comic Bill Maher declaring on a recent podcast that he thinks the U.S. is winning economically. But his guest fitness guru, Jillian Michaels, hitting back and pointing to the high cost of pretty much everything. Watch.
We won the pandemic economically. I mean, America...
God, I don't feel that way. Explain it to me. I feel like inflation's insane.
Inflation is not insane.
Bill, go buy a car.
There's numbers. I understand. Things,
a house
but it has
tripled here.
Look, I get that people
buy some eggs.
And inflation continues to take a major bite out of our pocketbooks. Since Biden took office, prices are up nearly 18%. And today, brand new numbers came in hotter than expected for January. But President Biden's good friends over at Morning Joe insist the economy is just fine.
You want to know how Biden's doing? Look at your 401k. Look at your stock app and see how much money you're making every hour. Because there's not a crazy lunatic in the White House. But these freaks, I'm not exactly sure what they think they're going to get from Donald Trump, but they're going to get none of that.
Trump,
Could you imagine you just decide to call everyone who's voting for Trump a bunch of freaks? And then what's amazing with Joe Scarborough, I went to just see Jillian, but we got to touch on Joe Scarborough whenever he pops up from his hole. He's like, look at your 401k, look at your stock apps. Hey man, most people in the country don't have stocks. Surprise, surprise. A giant percentage of people don't have stocks and have no idea what a stock app is. No clue. They don't, they know what stocks are, but they're like, no, there's an app, I guess. I don't know. What's it called? They don't have a stock app. And a lot of people don't even have 401k. When you're going down to, poverty levels, you're in the hood, you're in urban areas, 401k, they don't know what you're talking about. It's ridiculous. But that was her on Bill Maher. She was saying, she's like, try and buy eggs, this, that. It seems like Bill has gone the way of Patrick Bet-David when he has hired Chris Cuomo. It's almost like he knows he's going to be a bit of a punching bag in these conversations, and that's what he wants. He wants to be the guy who says, there's numbers that you could look at. And then the guest just kind of rips him apart. I think he knows that works, as, because every podcast, there's at least one clip that people are talking about from Bill Maher. And it's always him. It's never him berating someone else. It's always him getting berated. So I think he likes it. I think he understands it. It's still views. He's still making his money. I don't know. That's what it seems like. There's no way he's that out of touch. He's out of touch when it comes to the economy and regular Americans. He's out of touch with a lot of things, but I don't think he's out of touch with business. I think he understands. I think if someone comes to him and says, hey, the podcasts where you get ripped apart, they do better and we make more money, I think he goes, okay, more ad opportunities, more sponsorship opportunities. I think he gets that. But who knows? He's getting old. He's getting old, man. But that's Jillian Michaels. She is not playing around when it comes to this whole thing. As you can see here, very fiery about having to leave California. And it's very true. When someone like her decides to leave, you really got to look at it. If there's anybody watching, they're in California. Why don't you just check out another place? Especially in regards to houses, you check out Atlanta. I'm looking at real estate all the time. Check out Texas, Atlanta, places where, the weather's comparable, Arizona. Check out other places. So many people feel like they're stuck where they are. And let me tell you, sometimes it really is that you're stuck in a certain way where you can't afford moving costs and you can't afford to up and leave and you don't got first and last for another place. But a lot of the times people just feel like they can't start over. And I would compel you to not be afraid of starting over. Hard when you have kids. I know. I've done it many times. I got a kid. I've done it recently. And I've done it many times before I had kids. But I'll preface it with, if you are young-ish, I'm talking about like 22 to 38. Because when you talk to a 60-year-old, that's young. Believe me. If you're those ages and you don't have much anchoring you to a place, go. Get going. It might be the best thing you ever done. Who knows? You got to try things. You got to try things in life. But it's wild that this woman left California. She has all the woke cards, like she said. She can play any race card. She can go anywhere and play every race card. So the fact that maybe that's why. I actually met her and I was miking her up and she was wearing this low shirt. Like, I'm talking about low. I'm talking about real low. And I was like, I don't know where to put the mic. And she's like, listen, she's like, bro, just do whatever you got to do. And I was like, oh, okay. And I just didn't want to get, You know what I mean? You know, you're low and you got a mic up and you got to go through and to the back, and it's a lot. And she's like, just do whatever you got to do. And I was like, all right. And she's gay. That's why. You know? Wow. I just had that realization. Sorry. But anyways, guys, that is what's going on with California. Get out as soon as possible. You know, that's what I'm thinking at least. You know, when it comes to New York, the way that they're dealing with people who actually want to make money and add to the economy, they're like, well, you know, depending on who you are, we might throw you in jail. And then when it comes to California, they're kind of looking at you like, hey, if you're not up for straight up chaos, maybe you should consider somewhere else to live. I don't know, man. Texas. You know, a lot of people from Texas, they get upset because there's so many people coming. I mean, there's so many roads getting built. It's crazy how many roads are getting built. But it's a great place, I gotta say. Haven't seen any flags. You know what I mean? Those flags. I haven't seen any myself. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe. It helps the channel tremendously. Turn on the notifications. And other than that, I'm out.